What's going on YouTube? In this video, we're going to talk about how to build credibility. What's going on YouTube family? Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out another one of my YouTube videos. I really appreciate you guys liking, subscribing, sharing, and dropping comments on all my videos. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I really appreciate all that stuff. Without hesitation, let's jump right into the video. I'm gonna go over 5 particular things that you can do to build credibility. I don't care what it's for, whether it's for business or personal, anything in your life, whether you want to build credibility in some aspect, I'm going to show you 5 ways to do it. All right, so the number one way, and possibly the easiest, is to talk less and listen more. This really just comes down to a basic concept. Egotistical and narcissistic people really like to hear their own voice. Therefore, they're always talking about something. And I don't care if you're honestly egotistical or narcissistic, just talking without listening to anybody else is completely useless. It's a really bad form of conversation. Now, I'm not saying when you talk a lot, you're a narcissist or you're egotistical, but it's no fun when you have conversation with people that just like to talk your ear off. Speaking less gives you more credibility because it allows you to show that you're actually giving listening credibility to the other person. So in fact, you're actually reverse engineering the credibility factor and basically making yourself seem more credible by allowing them to feel more credible. This is why you hear phrases like the first person to talk loses or things like that. Basically, they all mean the same thing. Credibility comes when you take it all in and you say only the important things that really matter. You don't just talk for the sake of talking. When you speak less, people tend to trust you more. They trust you because you've spent the time listening to them, and therefore, after you've gained their trust, you're actually more persuasive. This segues perfectly into number 2, which is to ask strategic, really good questions. Simply by virtue of you being a really good listener rather than talker, you've gained the trust of people around you. Therefore, when you talk, you speak volumes. Meaning you ask really good questions because you've taken in so much really good information and content and you know a lot. So your questions are going to be really pointed, they're going to be really strategic, they'll be very direct, and they'll have an outcome to them. The person that's not credible is the person that just asks random questions. They just gab, and just ask whatever comes to their mind. It's not calculated. It's not decisive. It's not anything that's set up. You are asking questions that are meaningful. If you're not catching the drift, as you move upwards on this level, you're gaining more and more credibility as you go. Because as people see you as more meaningful, they're going to see you as more credible. As you talk less, ask better questions, you're just more trustworthy and more credible. All right, so moving right on to number 3. When you do talk about facts and talk numbers. Listen, I know you've heard it a billion times, but numbers don't lie. So when you speak in terms of metrics, calculations, numbers, real talk, these things are exact, right? So whatever the conversation is regarding, if you're talking about statistics or, just general numerical data, you're speaking truth. And that speaks volumes once again, and your credibility rises even higher. As a credible person, only dabble in facts. You don't want to dabble in guesses, theory, concept. That's for the layman. That's not you. You are a credible person. You only talk about meaningful, factual things that are reality, that exist. You don't just speak for the purpose of having your voice heard. So let's just say you're in a business meeting and you're having a conversation and you get asked a question. You've been probably listening for a while, taking a lot of information in, and your answer is going to be spot on because you're going to have numerical data, you're going to have factual data, you're going to have realistic data, and you're going to have answers that are going to be speaking to facts and numbers, and nobody can deny that stuff. I'm telling you, it's 10x credibility. Not to mention the fact that when you talk in this manner about facts and numbers, you're just being more and more real and genuine, and people trust that. People really trust when they hear numbers and facts, and you seem like you're completely put together. You didn't just come up with this out of nowhere. These are real things that you've thought up, you've construed in your mind, and you're delivering. And like I said before, when you talk like this, you're so easily persuasive. People understand you better. When you're talking about factual things, things that involve numbers, so many people can understand that better than just general theory or concepts or whatever it might be that they talk about. All right, so number 4 on how to gain credibility, tell the truth. Listen, the second you make something up or lie or just create some fabrication, your credibility crashes and burns. Never, ever do this. Don't lie. It's just that simple. Telling the truth is one of the easiest things you can ever do. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Always tell the truth and you'll never have to remember what you say." When there's something you don't know, just simply admit you don't know that thing. You can find out about it later on, of course, but admit that you don't know it and you'll get to it later. The people that try to make things up or run on the fly with just some random answer that makes no sense, they lose all credibility because at the end of the day, the truth will come out and it all falls apart. These are the people that lose all their authority, people lose respect for them, and basically people just write them off as completely useless. Credible people who admit that they don't know what they're talking about when they're saying something, they remain credible. All right, so last but not least, be a decisive person. Just don't be a wishy-washy person. Just be a person that makes decisions, informed decisions. You've taken in a lot of information. You know things. Be decisive. People that have less credibility simply defer to others. They don't make a decision quickly. They think on it way too long. They're not decisive. When someone asks you a question, be decisive. If it's a yes or a no, or if it's some other type of question, answer it with authority. Be decisive. Those who don't are just wishy-washy people that have to think about it, that don't really know what they're talking about because they haven't been thinking about anything at all. In reality, as simple as this sounds, being a decisive person demonstrates a clear vision and a clear direction. Now that's a credible person. Somebody who doesn't have that won't be able to make a decisive decision, and that's not so credible. Think about anyone you know in a leadership position. This person is very decisive. They're very distinct. You have complete control over how people view you and how people view your credibility. Take that asset, utilize it in the right way to make sure that you go far. I truly hope this video was a value add for you. If it was, please smash that like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Hit the alert button so that you know every single time I release a new video. Until then.